More than 656 feet inside a Spanish cave, archaeologists have documented 120 Roman inscriptions. 5 are offerings to a goddess known only as the Lady. Her real name may be hidden in one word, MALACI, but nobody yet knows exactly what it means. Cova Dones lies near Malaris, in the Spanish province of Valencia, and getting to its Roman sanctuary is part of the story. The cave runs for nearly 1,640 feet, through dark galleries, low passages, and chambers shaped by water. The sanctuary waits more than 656 feet from the entrance, far beyond the last trace of daylight. People making that journey in the 1st and 2nd century CE would have needed light, and the offerings show that at least some arrived with a deliberate purpose. What they left on the walls wasn't a polished marble dedication from a public temple. These words were cut and scratched directly into the cave's rock, sometimes so faintly that angled light is needed to separate a letter from the natural surface. During May and June 2026, the team examined the chamber with specialist lighting, photography, and digital recording. Before that campaign, roughly 15 Latin inscriptions were known here. Now the count stands at least 120, and large parts of the cave still await detailed study. Most of the texts are provisionally dated to the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, so the reading and dating work isn't finished. Even so, their position already tells us something important. The inscriptions gather on the walls and ceiling of one defined chamber rather than appearing randomly along the route. Put together, the number, the repeated dedications, and that tight concentration look like an organized sanctuary used for a specific cult. The clearest repeated title is Domina, Latin for the Lady. 5 inscriptions appear to be votive dedications to her. In simple terms, a votive inscription records something offered or promised to a deity, a message meant to stand after the worshipper had gone home. Then we've got the next clue, MALACI. The word appears in 3 of the dedications, close enough to the goddess's title to suggest a particular name, epithet, or local form of address. It may tell us which lady people came here to worship, but the reading remains unresolved. One possibility being explored is a connection with water. Small natural pools, known as whorls, collect water inside the sanctuary chamber, and Roman visitors placed objects in and around them. That makes the water idea understandable, but it doesn't prove it. For now, MALACI is a word we can see without yet knowing exactly what a Roman visitor heard in it. The worshippers haven't remained completely anonymous either. Several inscriptions preserve female names, direct traces of women who entered this underground space. The research team sees those names as evidence that women took an active part in the sanctuary's ritual life. Spindle whorls found in the chamber add another, more physical clue. A spindle whorl is a small weight fitted to a spindle, helping it turn while fibers are twisted into thread. The archaeologists suggest that complete spindles may have been offered here, although their wooden shafts haven't survived. Textile work was closely associated with women in the Roman world, but a spindle whorl isn't an identity card, so the objects support the inscriptions without telling us every worshipper's story. Even the cave's traditional name is intriguing because Cova Dones means Cave of the Women. That name may preserve an old memory of women or female beings connected with the cave, although nobody can yet trace that memory back to the Roman sanctuary. The team also recorded 2 bronze rings, a bracelet, vessels, pottery, and animal remains around the natural pools. The rings still lay in the dark surface beneath the inscribed walls, small personal objects in a room reached only after a long underground walk. A Roman coin found in 2024 gives us a firmer point in time. It belongs to the period of Emperor Claudius in the 1st century CE and had been placed between a fissure and a stalactite in the chamber's ceiling. Someone had to carry that coin inside, look upwards, and choose that narrow space deliberately. We don't have a surviving ritual program explaining the rings, vessels, animal remains, or coin. Their original positions are valuable because they let archaeologists study how the inscriptions, pools, and offerings relate to one another rather than treating them as loose objects from an old collection. Cova Dones also holds a much older story, and for a moment the timeline opens dramatically. More than 100 Palaeolithic paintings and engravings survive elsewhere in the cave, with some estimated to be over 24,000 years old. They include animals, finger-like marks, and clay pigment applied directly to the rock. Those images don't demonstrate an unbroken tradition leading to the Roman goddess. They show instead that people returned to this underground landscape across an extraordinary span of time, finding different meanings in the same darkness, water, and stone. Researchers have also documented more than 100 speleofacts, cave formations deliberately broken, moved, or arranged by people, with at least some changes attributed to prehistoric visitors. One formation was assembled into a ring, while a large stalagmite was cut and repositioned to make movement through the cave easier. These changes belong to another chapter, but they remind us that people didn't simply enter Cova Dones and leave it untouched. There is still plenty we can't read. Numerous Latin inscriptions remain under study, much of the cave awaits detailed investigation, and the project is building a digital twin to record the site without sending crowds through its fragile chambers. The biggest question remains the smallest piece of writing: MALACI. If its meaning can be established, the lady may finally gain a more precise identity. Until then, the cave gives us worshippers' names, objects they carried, water collecting in stone, and 5 dedications to a goddess whose title survives more clearly than her name. If this underground mystery has you wondering what else caves can preserve, watch New Archaeology, the Cave Mask Mystery next. That discovery follows another small object found in darkness, and another very human question about who left it behind.